welcome back to the channel. Today we've got another 2025 540i xDrive, the G60 chassis. This one is finished in Cape York green. I believe that's the German said grown, maybe? Probably mispronounced it. Either way, Cape York green, really interesting color. So it is technically a green color, but I think it's more like a green-gray color, if that makes sense. Of course, it made this debut on the X1. It's also available on the X2 as well as the 4 Series. So begin up front with our G60 headlights. So basically quotation marks for the daytime running lights. A dual headlight design. No more laser lights. It's all LEDs. And you can see a coronet there in the corner. The grille is an active kidney grille with very few openings. So you can see this lower portion here will open if the car determines it needs more airflow. Otherwise it's closed, basically solid, and it's also plastic around it. So we also have the parking assistance camera there on the driver's side of the grille. And the sensors, if you get Driving Assistance Pro, it's built in right here. Now the 540, I believe, comes with standard active cruise control, and that sensor's basically right there. So integrated with the grille pretty well. All right, so moving to the side style 933s. Now to me, they remind me of the Alpina wheels on the Alpina Roadster V8. So the Alpina version of the Z8. So really nice design. They are silver, of course, which also looks really good against Cape York green. Take a step back and you take in the side profile. And I'd say this one's pretty well equipped. There's not that many options you can get on it other than the packages, so premium and executive package. And you sort of mix and match with some other things like Driving Assistance Pro. This one does have it. Let's make our way to the back here. So you take in our slimming tail lights. We have xDrive badging and 540i badging in chrome. And an exaggerated font size for the 5. Now, just like all the other G60s, unless you're getting the M5, you're not getting visible or protruding exhaust tips. So they are pointed down. It is a dual exhaust, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like you will be able to get the M Performance exhaust, which you could do on the G30, on the 540i. Here's that rear 3/4 view. And then here's the Cape York green color out of direct sunlight. So a very gray-green look out of direct sunlight. And as we make our way into the sun, you can see that hue of the paint changes. But we're going to make our way inside, go over pricing and options on this 540i. Also a very hard car to get allocations for. So opening up, we have the burgundy red Vaganza, and there's quite a bold choice to go with Cape York green. So door card, softish plastic up here. And the burgundy Vaganza here on this portion of the door card. We have a cloth cover, which I believe is a speaker cover. Then harder plastic at the bottom of the door card. See that interaction bar here for controls for the seat positions and seat menu and lock and unlock. So this one's got the optional Bowers Wilkins sound system. It's not the Diamond surround sound system. All right, now moving to the seats. These are not powered in terms of the head restraint or the crumb catcher, but I think otherwise pretty well quilted and well bolstered. You do have controls down here for lumbar support. Now the controls for the side bolster are in the iDrive settings. And here's that manually powered crumb catcher. And the M5 is the only 5 Series to get basically door sills with some model designation or even a BMW logo. All right, so in front of me, your standard steering wheel on the 5 Series. So this is from the iX, a hexagonal shaped steering wheel, which I think looks pretty good and does well with iDrive 8.5 Live Cockpit. Again, it's a 2-spoke steering wheel. So I think the last time it was on the BMW like this was the i3, and of course made its way to the iX, and of course now across the lineup for the most part. Controls on the left-hand side here for cruise control and assisted driving. Then we have shift pedals, Then the aforementioned iDrive 8.5 live cockpit. Then heads-up display. Then the upper dashboard, like a rubberized plastic. The rest of the curved display here, which is angled towards the driver. Got your vent controls from the 7 series, so touch to close and then touch to open. Hazard lights, which light up the entire lighting display here, if you have them on. In terms of controlling where the air is blowing, you got controls down here, up, down, left, right. Then, here you've got the wireless charging tray, just on this side does nothing. Got cup holders and USB-C charging ports. All right, so the center console here has the drive selector nub, iDrive controller, and the wheel there for the volume. I didn't mention the trim, but it is the fine line open pore wood trim. It's got a nice texture to it. Is it real wood? I'm not 100% sure. All right, starting price, the 2025 540i xDrive is $65,200. Cape York Green is a metallic paint, which means it's another $650. The Vaganza is included, and those merino leather options, I believe, are all bicolor. I can't remember if there's a solid black. There might be. Then you got Driving Assistance Pro, which includes the Highway Assistant for $2,500. Premium Package for $2,050. Make sure we can see this here. So that Sky Lounge panoramic roof for $600. That's part of the executive package or standalone option. Otherwise, you will get the standard moonroof, which opens. At least part of it does. The fine line open pore wood trim is another $600. Bowers American surround sound system for $950. Again, that is not the diamond surround sound system that you find in things like the iX M60 or the X5M. All told, MSRP of this particular example, $73,725. All right, so move into the back door. It does not have comfort access on the rear doors because it has ultra wideband. The idea being, of course, the idea is the passive entry allow you to open up all the doors without having to worry about touching the door. All right, so open up. Here's the rest of that burgundy Vaganza interior. All right, here's a view of the cockpit from the back seat. And here is that Sky Lounge solid glass panel, which does not open. Then out back, just vent controls and USB-C charging ports for model year 26, which begins production, I believe, in March. All right, so for model year 26, you're able to get an optional 4-zone climate control. In other words, 2 more climate control zones for the rear. Previously, that was available through BMW Individual. And then more USB-C charging ports on the back of each of the front seats, plus the travel and comfort system there. Knee room, leg room, pretty good. And then headroom, not much of an issue in the back of the G60. All right, so move to the back here, and then we can use our kick to open. And here is the cargo area. I'd say it's a pretty decent size. You can also fold down those rear seats for even more room. It does come with a mobility kit over here. There's no extra storage down below. And you have a power tailgate, which means you can either press the button or kick to close. And then we're going to make our way to the hood and see what lies beneath the hood here that powers the 540i. All right, so underneath the hood here is the B58 inline-6 3-liter turbo engine. In this, guys, it's 375 horsepower and 398 torques. So plenty of power. And a pretty big improvement over the previous generation 540i. But that's it for a quick tour of another G60. And we'll see you at the next video.